America's Star Review for her 2025 University of California book, Black Artists in Their Own Words. She is also a friend of the artist. Joining us today, we should be in for a very engaging conversation. Thank you for your patience. And now I turn it over to Dr. Lisa Farrington. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Farrington.
Thank you, Deirdre. Well, Lorenzo Pace is an amazing artist, a performance artist, a musician, a sculptor, a multimedia artist who works with textiles, who works with found objects, who works in hard sculpture, soft sculpture. There's not much that he doesn't do. He's an educator. He's worked as a curator. He's traveled all over the world. He has art and exhibitions in Tokyo, in China, in Senegal, in South America, in France, and of course in the United States in such important collections as the Smithsonian Institution Collection and the New York Historical Society. We are friends, and I am always amazed at how much Lorenzo is able to accomplish. I'd like to mention that he comes out of Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, and he was a late migrant to the north, moving to Chicago in the 1960s. He taught himself for the first several years of his artistic career after making a trip to Paris and becoming excited about creativity in general, music and art and drama, which he embodies in his work, all three. And when he got back to Chicago, he began to work himself in wood sculpture, teaching himself how to sculpt. Until several years down the road, he had an exhibition in his early career at the famed Southside Community Arts Center and was noticed as a result of that show, and that resulted in him becoming a full scholarship student at the Chicago Art Institute and later at the Illinois State University. So by 1978, Dr. Pace had a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD. He's taught at multiple institutions, both here and abroad, and he eventually settled where we are now in this amazing studio in Brooklyn, New York, where there is and has always been a thriving art community. So I'd like to also mention that the State University of Illinois in 2011 inducted Dr. Pace into their Hall of Fame. And that is just a brief description of the amazing accolades and life that Lorenzo Pace has lived thus far. So Lorenzo is going to welcome all of you with playing music on one of his many instruments, which include drums and flute, and paying homage to the ancestors with that. Lorenzo. Thank you, Lorenzo.
Just to give a sense of giving acknowledgement to our ancestors, which I always try to start, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Exactly.
And so
Lorenzo, we're going to start this conversation talking about some of the work that you did early in your career. And since we're here, everyone, we are fortunate to start not with a slide, but with an actual sculpture that Lorenzo created during those years. Lorenzo, would you like to hold it? During those years when he was self-educating. And this is one of his very first sculptures prior to his indoctrination at the Chicago Art Institute School. Tell us something about that, Lorenzo.
This is the beginning of my career right here. Hanging out with a buddy of mine on the beach in Chicago, and I was walking, looking at this guy who was sitting on a bench carving the Last Supper with a pocket knife. And I asked him, could I watch him? He said, yeah, man. So I watched him for hours, and then I went to my buddy's house, and he had this piece of wood on his fireplace. And I said, can I carve it? He said, yeah. And so I carved it, and this is what I came up with. I didn't know that I could do this.
It's amazing.
All simultaneously happening simultaneously.
And it's wood.
It's wood.
And what's the finish? It's got a wonderful finish.
It's
It feels like African palm oil, you know, it has that shine.
Exactly. It has a real shiny aspect of it because I think it relates to me and going to the continent mentally and coming up with the kind of thing that I always seen in African art. So I tried to emulate that
It's beautiful.
with this piece, you know.
Yeah. It's really indicative of what comes later in terms of theme and subject matter, because you have a number of themes that you work with: family themes, life cycle, and as we'll see in a little while, the history and struggle of African people in the diaspora.
Yes,
So-
very much so. But the impetus came out. I left Chicago and spent a year in Paris, and when I was there, and that really sparked my creative energy. So when I came back, then I created this piece.
Beautiful.
And then it was like, from there on,
That's
the sky was.
Let's look at another piece from that era.
Okay. Yeah.
This one is My Sweet Mama Sitting on Her Throne, Senegal, from 1971.
I've always had an affinity towards Africa. I don't know if it's in my bones or in my, and I always had a respect for the beginning of all humanity. And it starts with a black woman.
Right.
And so I try to.
This is wood also.
Yes, this is wood. It's a small piece. I just carved it, thinking about my mother and thinking about the very early part of my career, developing how to carve something, and how to make something out of nothing.
Literally. Yeah.
They said that the artist is the closest thing what we call God. Why I say that? Because we assume that who created all this, us and the whole universe, started from somewhere. And so as an artist, we get to the point where I want to make something. And that's how all art begins. To having a desire to want to make. Let's figure out what happened when I made this piece. I want to make something. So that's how the creative spirit comes into us, all of us. If you look at the Egyptians, how they created all these immense, great pyramids and things like that nature. So little mama, big mama is like, that's my sweetheart.
That's beautiful. And within the family theme. And the next image, I think, is a dedication to your father.
Exactly.
Who passed away in 80, 81?
No, 91.
91. You
Yes,
sure?
and 91.
Oh, okay.
And
So this is a later piece, actually.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so when he passed away, he dictated, I'm from a family of 13. So
Say that again.
I
He's
am
from a
big
family of 13 children.
So my pop and mom stayed in the bed quite
And your
a
dad
bit.
was a minister, right?
Yeah, he's a minister. They say a minister, they love to stay in the bed. But anyway, he wanted to, before he left the planet, he dictated to my brother what he wanted to tell us about what he thought of Egypt was.
Oh, I see.
And so I did a whole series of all the kids that was alive. And this but this is Michael piece. He talks about what Michael wanted. He wanted Michael to know what he thought about him when he left the planet.
Wow, it's a beautiful way to make a legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a whole series of just all my siblings.
And we're starting to see here that how interested you are in multimedia and
Exactly.
found objects. It's really starting to come out. Yeah?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So as we move forward, I want to look at another multimedia piece, but this is also a sort of an installation,
Right.
You know, that's sort of movable.
Exactly.
You know? So this piece is dedicated to James Baldwin. It's called "Go Tell It on the Mountain." Yeah, and this is 1987.
Yeah, when James Baldwin passed away, he had a big funeral at the Cathedral St. John of Divine, and I was an artist in residence there.
Right. You have work in the St. John the Divine collection, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A piece is called "Homage to John Coltrane," and so when Baldwin passed away, I did an installation on the north wall to honor him. And this piece, because James Baldwin was very early in his life was a preacher in Harlem, you know. So I went to Harlem, got some doors from a church, and I made this installation. So you see Baldwin. I always exaggerate his big eyes.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that, you know, I try to say.
Signature element about him.
Yeah.
Now this was exhibited at the Jersey City Museum.
For me?
Was this exhibited at the Jersey City Museum? Is that right?
No, it was exhibited at the Birmingham Museum.
Oh, in Alabama.
In Alabama,
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. And so tell us a little bit more about the materials. You've got the wood doors and the figure itself.
The figure itself is carved. I carved the
You
carving
did?
of James, and in the center he's holding the book. And
The
then
fire next time.
no, that's fire next time is another one.
Uh-huh.
This is the Go Tell It on the Mountain, and Go Tell It on the Mountain dealt with the cross. You see the cross up top. That's when he was a preacher.
Right.
Early part of his life in Harlem, and but I was hoping that you have the fire next time, but that I don't think you have an image of that.
No, but I know it's got a lot in common with this piece.
Exactly,
Yeah,
very commentary.
Yeah, and for those in the audience who don't realize, this is almost life size. I mean, you can step into this. It's
Exactly.
pretty impressive. Yeah. So tell me, how did you make the transition from sculpture to multimedia works, installations?
That's a very challenging question, because I think me growing up in the church, looking at my father, dancing, clapping, drumming, and it's kind of like a multimedia situation in the sanctified church. Like everybody dancing.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a part of my.
That's performance.
Yes,
too.
that's performance,
Right.
and that came very easily to me, and so in terms of, but when I went into graduate school, all of that came out,
Right.
and that just made me want to explore more. So so graduate school was the really impetus.
And that was the sort of explosion of postmodern ideas about how to deconstruct the canvas and
Exactly.
bring in all these other elements and make art
Exactly.
part of life as opposed to something on a wall that you
Exactly.
have to
That's
just look
when
at. It was
I
a
really,
very exciting time.
yeah, very exciting time.
Yeah.
You otherwise basically you can do anything you want,
Yeah.
and that's why I was like, oh, I can. I did a play, in terms of performance.
Yeah.
At the school we had a performance space. I was the first one to use the space, and did a 2-hour productive based on a performance art called Mummification
Wow.
at the school.
So
I mean, that just came. The multimedia things have always kind of came natural to me.
Really?
For some reason. And
you never fell into the trap of making a painting only, or because you are a painter as well. I mean,
right.
yeah. But your paintings are not flat and two-dimensional. They've got all kinds of impasto and thick paint, and the colors are amazing, and the shapes.
Yeah, I put everything in there. I don't leave nothing out, you know. And that's the freedom and beauty that I picked up very early in my exploratory period.
Cool.
You know.
So another piece from I think this one is a little bit later, from the 90s. This is a work that you did as a result of going to Sardinia in Italy. This is called Sardinian Girl.
Right.
And tell us about the materials first, because I can't tell what I'm looking at, because you have the alchemical ability to just make one kind of material look like something else. So talk to us about that.
Well, when I spent my time in Sardinia, Sardinia is such a beautiful island right off in the southern part of France. I mean, in Italy. Now, materials, you see the little balls on the hair, symbolizes the hair. These are things that come out of the beach. You only can find in Sardinia.
Wow.
These are little balls everywhere on the beach. I said, oh, I like those. And so I just grabbed a whole.
Are they like shell material?
It's like someone's tea.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Like
amazing.
It's like sea urchins or something.
Something, right. Wow.
So I grabbed a whole lot of them, brought them back to to New York. And you see the other one, it's a big light light lamp that comes from the streets. I saw that.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. I
mean, it looks like some fantastic bronze cast or something.
No, that's from the street lamp. And you go on down, you see the shoes, little red shoes. So I wanted to give a sense of young girl in Sardinia.
Now tell me, you've been to Paris years before, but what brought you? Is this your second trip to Europe, or you've been there multiple times?
No, this is my third trip, because I went to Amsterdam.
Uh-huh. So what brought you to Sardinia?
I was a part of this international group called Plexus International, multi-million-dollar group. I started out here in the East Village, and I was a part of that whole group where they did performers, installations, all kinds of plays and things of that nature, coming out of the Lower East Side. And when I left Chicago to come to New York, that's where I landed on the Lower East Side. That's when it was really exploding. Everything was going on there, Of course, there's big drugs and prostitutes
Everything.
and everything. But a lot of artists came out of there.
Right, of course.
Baraka, he used to hang out down there. The other
Basquiat?
Huh?
Basquiat?
Yeah, Basquiat. I mean, also, that was kind of like the hub of the creative period during that period. So Sardinian Girl was a magma of all those things that I felt at that time.
Beautiful.
So.
And was there a girl?
Huh? What? Yes, that was a little girl.
There was a little girl.
That was a girl. I had much fun,
So now you also write, you're an author, and you've written a number of children's books. Your first one is the award-winning Jalani and the Lock. And that book sparked years of art production, from sculpture, soft and hard, to, as you see here, to assemblage, to performances and plays even, yeah?
Yeah.
It is some book, and it has a real inspiration in an actual lock, which I would like you to tell us about.
Oh, come on. I could spend the whole...
Well, yeah, we don't have all that time.
The whole conversation be around this lock, because and
well,
this
tell us, is it a real lock?
Yes.
Yes, and whose lock was it? That'll get you started.
No, it starts, I guess, when my father passed away in 91. So I go back to Birmingham, Alabama, to bury him. And my uncle and the family came home. We all had a repast at the house. And so my uncle began to talk about his brother and us, him growing up in the South. And so he asked my mother, hey, do you have a bag in the house that he had given my father 35 years ago? And my mother knew exactly what he was talking about. Go to the bedroom, come back with the bedroom, then say, my uncle said, this is the lock that was given to him by his father, Joseph Pace, which was given to him by his father, Steve Pace, the slave in our family. All the food
Amazing.
stuff, everybody's house,
And it's been there all of these generations.
over 100 years.
Lock and key that was used on, if you will, Lorenzo's great-great-grandfather when he was enslaved. And they saved it. And
And
Jalani and the Lock, the story is about that journey.
Exactly, about that journey. So I came back to New York, and my uncles and the family decided I'd be the keeper of the lock. And I was like, well, y'all giving it me for? What I'm going to do with this? I was like, I really didn't want it because I didn't know what to do with it. It's such a precious icon. So I brought it back and threw it in the closet and said, hey, I forgot about it. So one day, my daughter came home from school and said, Daddy, kids were making fun of me. I said, well, why, girl? She said, because they said my nose is too big, my hair too nappy, my skin too black, and they were just, I said, baby, you don't have to be ashamed of you and what you look like. And so I thought about the lock. I said, well, how can I explain such a sensitive topic to my daughter? And then I began to write.
Wow, beautiful.
I began to write that little book. And that little book has gone to France.
It's been translated into
Right,
French,
translated into French,
Dutch,
Spanish.
Afrikaans. I mean, wow.
And the Dutch took it and did a 2-hour production.
Amazing. In South Africa?
No.
In Holland?
In Holland. In Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam. Wow.
And then it's traveled the production to 3 other cities, Utrecht and Rotterdam.
Wow.
In Holland.
Wow.
Then after that, they took the production to Suriname, one of their Dutch colonies.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
And then I was invited in France to do work with French Algerian students. They took the book and translated it into French and wrote a book based on Jalani and the Law.
Amazing. If we could just go back for one quick second. Yeah, I wanted you to talk about the box with the lock and the mirror, because that's an interesting interactive piece that
Yes.
that's just briefly. Yeah.
Exactly. When you begin to open up the little box, that took I made about five of them. And in the box is the key and the lock. So when you open up that box, there's a mirror, and you look in that mirror and you begin to question where you come from.
Exactly.
What is your history?
Yeah.
Because everybody has a history.
Yeah.
Everybody. So that's the whole.
It's just indicative of your work being so in touch with the Black experience and engaging anyone who comes in touch with it. I wish you all could see this studio. You would not believe how amazing it is. But okay, we're going to just show a couple of other book covers, because the Jalani was 2001, correct?
Right.
Yeah. But then since then, you've written other books on other historical figures like Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King, and so this is and those books came in the last 10, 15 years.
Yes,
yeah?
yes. See, because our history is so intertwined with the very foundation of American history.
Yeah.
And it's been not very good told about our history. And what I like about what you have done, Lisa, you really get into the depths of telling about our story. Because our story has not really been expounded upon like it should have been.
No.
And I was talking about Tamela Lewis. She was also very influential to me because I was in some of her early books
Yes.
about talking about African Americans.
You're in my books too.
Huh?
You're in my books too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying to
Yeah.
you. And so you taking up the battle of what Tamela Lewis have done.
Yes.
And when I saw that, I said, wow, somebody I'll have to meet. Because that's something I respected Tamela, and I said, hey, you know, if you coming out of the show, standing on the shoulder of Tamela, then I know you take it very seriously.
Yes.
And that's what makes it so. I mean, so Frederick Douglass, you know, another one of great orators and great.
You have a
person.
lot of work on Frederick Douglass. I saw in your hallway out here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Frederick.
Yeah.
You know.
What a great speaker.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
God,
You know.
yeah.
So that's and Jalani and the Lock is the book is banned in Florida.
What?
They banned the book in Florida. It goes to show you our history.
So just get it on Amazon.
Right, exactly.
It's a powerful, powerful story.
Yeah.
And it shows up again in a piece we're going to look at in just a minute. But I wanted to talk about this. I don't know if you can see it on camera. This is a play, a 2-hour play that Lorenzo wrote called Locked. Yes?
Yes.
And it is an amazing story about discrimination and another Pace personality. Yeah?
Right.
And you co-wrote it with a professor, colleague of yours, yeah, University of Texas.
Yes, when I was teaching, a professor at the University of Texas in Rio Grande, and so he looked at Jalani and the Lock, said, "Hey, Lorenzo, why don't we collaborate?" I said, "Oh, okay, and let's do a play." I said, "Okay," and that's when we began to construct.
And this is recent, 2021. I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so there's a stepping stone from Jalani and the Lock.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it just keep.
It's produced, that lock has produced almost over a decade's worth of ideas.
Yes.
And yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we're going to look at some of the large scale, some of the large scale works that you've done in the new millennium. And this is from the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. This is an installation you were commissioned to do in China. And I'd love to hear about how that came about and the symbolism here.
Well, in 2008, China invited 45 heads of state from Africa to Beijing for the Olympics. And then also they invited artists from around the world. And they invited 5 from the Americas, and I was one of the artists that was invited. And so when I got the invitation, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I got there. And then I saw that the heads of states, you know, I said, why do China want to invite all these heads of states? And I realized that they want to get some of their material. They got the gold, they got the bauxite, they got everything. So I said, oh, okay. And so the name of this installation is called One World, One Dream, Africa, China. So I went to the markets in China and got the red mops, and I got the...
Like floor mops.
Yeah, floor mops. I wanted a utility.
There's no material that he can't turn into a work of art.
So I went and got some black brooms, and I painted them black, and then I got some red brooms, I painted them red. The brooms is indigenous of what I saw in Senegal.
Yeah.
They use the same broom
Wow.
to sweep. And so you see the big sun in the background. And because then this was the first contemporary art museum in China, the largest, is enormous. Because when I first went to China, I went to Beijing, Hong Kong, Guilin, Xi'an as a professor. They couldn't do contemporary art.
Right.
Contemporary art was banned. 2008 is completely exploded.
The Olympics changed everything.
Complete
right?
had changed.
Sunshine Museum, I think.
Sunshine
it is,
Museum,
in Beijing,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's where all that came from.
And the theme is Africa and Senegal and Beijing.
Yeah,
And China.
Africa and
Africa
China.
and China.
Africa
It's
and
beautiful.
China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is this other piece, if we could jump over the, is that part of the same installation in,
No, it's completely different.
tell me about this
This
one.
was at the New Jersey State Museum
Uh-huh.
here in the States. And also, I've begun to, I should take my students every year to Senegal
Uh-huh.
for 5 years straight.
Wow.
And we
Students
lived
from where? From University of Texas? Or
from Montclair State,
Montclair State.
from the university there.
You were director of the gallery there.
Yeah, that's the director of the gallery. And so I was say, hey, let's go to Africa. So they said, okay, cool. And so what I loved about going there is because we lived in thatch huts
Uh-huh.
on the beach.
Wow.
Why I wanted that to happen because I didn't want to let them know, get some kind of what they thought, what was like before.
Colonialism.
Yeah, exactly. Just to give them a sense of what,
The
no
beauty.
running water,
Yeah.
no lights at night, But they had you to make a great dance called Sapa dance.
Right.
And so I wanted to create this whole aspect of, you see in the centerpiece of it is all kinds of bangles and stuff like that. That's the Senegalese dances. And I wanted to incorporate my mother's quilts. I wanted to give that sense of collaboration between the two cultures, Africa and America.
Yeah, so for those of you in the audience, just ignore the descriptor. That's accidentally taken from the Olympic piece. So what's the title of this piece?
I think she pulled it up. Senegalese dance.
Is that what it says?
Huh?
Senegalese
I pulled
dance?
it up.
It says one word.
Oh.
No, that's
But anyway, it's called Senegalese dance. For
and my
those
mother's quilts.
Okay, so for those of you who are looking it up on the internet. Now, what I'd love to do right now is take a minute or a bunch of minutes to talk about probably your best known work. This work, as you can see, there's a sketch for it, there's a mock-up, and then the actual piece is in front of the federal building at Foley Square, part of the African Burial Ground, multi-installations in that area. It is 300 tons of granite and over 50 feet tall. And this was 10 years in the making, was it not?
Yes.
And it is an amazing piece. It is inspired by any number of things, including the shape of the Chihuahua antelope, which is a special sculpture from Mali in Ghana, honoring the primordial beings. And take it away.
This was a kind of thing that just jumped up on me. When they discovered the grounds in '91. I came back from Birmingham, burying my father, and they had a big front page in the New York Times. They discovered the African burial ground.
Right. So this, for those of you who don't know in the audience, there was a government building going up in downtown Manhattan, and in the excavation to put in the foundation of the building, the bones, which turned out to be the bones of New York Africans, were found underground, and so the whole area became a sacred site honoring the African burial ground.
Over 20,000 were buried in that site, and of course they just built all the buildings around it. They didn't really care, but these bones just kept coming. It goes to show you our
These
ancestors.
bones just kept coming up.
Our ancestors
They
said,
weren't
"Hey,
going anywhere.
I'm here."
Imagine.
So they had to fight to stop the project.
Right.
And one of our great senators, Gus Savage from Chicago, said, "Hey, you're not going to desecrate my ancestors. Stop the project." The federal government said, "This is an expensive ground." Yeah, we know, but you got to stop the project. and really give homage to these people that's buried there. So they stopped the project, and they took out the bones, took it to Howard University to be analyzed. And so then they had a call, African American community say, hey, no, nothing could be built on this site. And then it said, the government said, okay, we have to do something to honor these enslaved. And so they did.
Yeah. A number of artists, Houston Conwell,
Yes.
Barbara Chase Rabu,
Yeah,
any
exactly.
number of African American artists have now permanent installations around this site. It's
And
really beautiful, and there's a park
Yeah.
where the burial ground actually was. So yes, I'm sorry.
And so, so then the city said, okay, see, that's two components of this. The federal government, that's the original thing that really got the attention, because they was building the whole kept coming up with these bones to build the office building, and so that was the federal. Then the city said, okay, all this is a part of our thing too. It's
It's city property.
The
too,
city
yeah.
property, you know. They said, well, the New York City Culture Fest, they put a call out for an artist to build something on that site, and then they narrowed 400 artists applied. They narrowed down to 5, and I got the call to build it.
Amazing.
And so how I got the inspiration, I said, well, I took a moment to say, hey, these are my ancestors. So I went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, sit down and meditated, and the image of Chihuahua just kept coming up.
And it's such an elegant kind of an image, you know, the Chihuahua.
Yes, exactly.
I noticed you have at least one in your studio. here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was hoping to bring that in, but anyway, the whole aspect of the Chihuahua, which I saw, is a male version and a female version. So I got inspiration from the female version, because she carries the baby on the
On
back,
the back, yes.
which represents the next generation. It's an antelope, which deals with harvest,
Yeah.
and you know, for men and women collaborating, working together to get a great harvest. So it's been there 25 years, and it is the heart of my work.
Now there's you can see it a little bit in the mock-up. The base is shaped to resemble a slave ship, yes?
No, it is exact the symbol of a slave ship, and that represents the first Native American, because that was a fishing and boating area in that area, because that's where the Native American caught their fish, because it was a collect pond there before.
In Lower Manhattan.
Yeah, Lower Manhattan. Then also the boat represents the immigrants, because the majority of immigrants came here by boat. Then also the boat represents me and how I got here as a slave. So it has a multi-layered, and the water, you see the water coming out, which
Beautiful. I mean, stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
also the lock is in there somewhere.
And before, yeah.
Can't forget Jalani.
And before the foundation, I did a ceremony to bury a replica of the lock in the basis of the sculpture, so it connect my family with the enslaved population here in New York.
So there's an event coming up to celebrate the sculpture and its meaning and its 25 years in that location on October 8th.
Yes.
Yeah, 2026, coming up.
Yes, and
You're invited.
and so are you.
Oh, thank you.
And then, yeah, every year this is our 7th year celebrating at the monument to give homage to the ancestors, basically. Because if it wasn't for them, none of us would be here.
Yeah.
And so we bring in speakers, and dancers, writers, politicians to give homage at least once a year to acknowledge the people who have built this city.
Wonderful.
And the other thing that this is the only city in America that has two monuments. This is the most diverse city in the world.
So we are out of time.
We are out of time?
Almost.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to ask you about your most recent work. You're working in steel, is that true? Is that my imagination?
I think it's your imagination.
Really? But what are you doing now recently?
Matter of fact, it's right there on this table here.
Oh, wow.
This is a piece that I'm still working on, hopefully to finish by the 8th of October.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's a mixed media piece.
But tell me something, when are you going to stop? Never?
I see, my brother said,
Because you've been making art now for
1,000 years.
1,000 years.
My brother said, hey man, you stopped taking, you retired from the university, so when you gonna retire from art? I said, hey, until I'm 6 feet under.
God bless you. So I want to show a video of Lorenzo that includes our new mayor, Mamdani. So we'll take 2 minutes to do that, and we thank you all for watching.
This lock is the actual lock that enslaved my great-grandfather, Steve Pace, in Alabama. This is the foundation of my history here in this country. What is art? Art is everything and anything. You can look at art as being a representation of our humanity. Artists tell the history of the people. If they didn't tell the history, we wouldn't know what the Egyptians did 3,000, 4,000 years ago. You wouldn't know what the Greeks did. You wouldn't know what the Renaissance was like if you didn't have the artists telling the story. I was taught everything about me was bad. My nose too big, my lips too big, my hair too nappy, my skin too black. And so when the art came into me, I began to emphasize those negative things I was taught. The lips, the nose, and especially the hair. And you see the black, beautiful skin. In 1991, my father passed away in Birmingham. After the funeral, my uncle Julius gave the lock to me. Brought it back to New York. The first thing I saw, big headlines in the New York Times. Discovered the African burial ground in the heart of New York City. Slavery in New York? Come on, you're kidding me. That was a phenomenon for not only me, but for all New York. So I immediately went down to the site, jumped over the fence, and began to photograph. Because I felt that it connected my family with the enslaved population here in New York. And our mayor at the time, David Dinkins, he said, hey, everybody think about the South as slavery. We had it going on right here in New York.
So I want to say again how much we appreciate you joining us. And now I'd like to open up the platform for question and answers, which we have maybe 5 or 10 minutes for. Malcolm X, someone asked about Malcolm X. What was the question? You can say.
What are the materials used in the Malcolm X piece?
Did we show the Malcolm X piece? Oh, how are we going to talk about it if we didn't show it? We might have to ask it to, sorry, we're ruminating over the questions. There's a question about a piece that we don't have an image of, so we're going to have to skip over that one. Deirdre, why don't you go ahead and ask the questions?
Oh, okay.
Oh, my, uh, I started teaching. I guess this is kind of like a thing about teaching. I started very early. Even when I was in graduate school, I got recruited at the Malcolm X King College in Chicago, and then I didn't know that I could teach really. Then after that, I went and got my doctorate, and then I went to teach at Illinois State. And then came back to Chicago. I taught at the University of Illinois, Chicago. And then I left there and came to New York. And then that's where I started teaching at Medgar Evers. Medgar Evers College here in Brooklyn. Medgar Evers. That's the name of the college. Yeah, Medgar Evers in Brooklyn. Then I left there and went to Illinois State, not Illinois State, but Montclair State in New Jersey. And then I left there and went to the University of Texas to teach. I really love teaching. I mean, I think that is something that really resonates in my soul. And I feel that being around young people, and they inspire me, and that's why I've been teaching for so long. And my family was saying, when are you going to retire teaching? I said, well, hey, I love it. And I really do. And I think there's something that you have to love. And Lisa, you have taught it.
35 years.
Did you
Yeah,
know?
I loved every minute of it. It brought me so much joy and kept me young.
I feel the same way. I really do.
Yeah,
And I
love
learned so
teaching.
much too.
Yes, yeah,
You know.
yeah,
So teaching is either you got it or you don't.
yeah. Either you love it or you don't. If you don't love it, don't do it.
Exactly.
Because the students suffer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Immensely.
Yeah.
You know. So, but so teaching has been like, I guess, the same thing I feel with art. It's in my soul.
Yeah.
What role does music play in your work? You play the flute here, and we've seen artists, musicians featured in your work. What role does that play?
It plays a lot because I'm self-taught. And I didn't know I could play music until I started playing it. And it also, I incorporate music in my performance. All my performance, I bring in a multi-experience of instruments, the Congo drums, the flute, the shekere, the bells, I just bring in everything because I think it comes out of my father's church because they had everything in there. The drums, the blah, 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 blah. And so I taught myself, just like I taught myself art. So it comes into the...
You don't have boundaries when
No.
it comes to art. Art is the three major arts all flow together. Art, visual art, drama, music, they just all touch each other. Yeah, and writing.
Exactly.
Yeah, creative writing. Yeah.
I think the art thing is something, you have it or you don't. And you have to really, I think you really have to nourish it because of all the years I've been doing art, getting paid for it.
Cherry on the sundae.
But you know, as an artist, you make a decision. Do you want to go for it for the money, or you go for it for the arts? And you suffer to go for the arts.
Yeah.
And that's I say, hey, well, that's why I had to go teach
Yeah.
to you know
So that you can continue being an artist.
to be an artist.
Yeah. We have another question.
You've talked about art making as a conversation.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Where does that idea come from?
That idea comes from being observant of my environment. That's the first thing. And appreciating, that's why you see in my studio I have plants here, because I love plants. My mother loved plants too. Your environment inspires And so when I look at something I feel that's unique, like a twig on the ground, I feel like they speak to me and I speak back to them. It's like a conversation. I mean, it's really like a conversation. And if it's a natural conversation, it inspires me just to take the conversation to another level. It's like, hey, what's up? And he said, I'm cool. He said, yeah, all right, that's good. It's a conversation. And majority, I guess a lot of people don't deal with that from a conversation perspective.
Right.
It's something that you see and you really feel that it's your unique color, shape, the form, the whole 9 yards. That, to me, is a natural conversation.
We have one more question. It goes back to the Triumph of the Human Spirit program, the one that's happening on October 8th, but also what is the purpose of the Triumph of the Human Spirit program? And does this have anything to do with the legacy? Will this have anything to do with the legacy of your art?
Very much so. Triumph of the Human Spirit. It took me a while to get with a title of that nature. And I took you all out to see my concept of honor thy father and mother, how that whole concept relates to the human experience.
Mm-hmm. And resilience.
And it's so important that we connect as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Triumph of the Human Spirit is indignant throughout my whole work.
And so it's not only the title of the large sculpture at Foley Square, but of your annual celebration of the sculpture, yes?
Of bringing people together.
Yeah.
That's
Across all boundaries, yeah?
huh?
Across all boundaries.
Across all boundaries, and in actuality, we all one. We all one people. We get in this race thing, which I think is a ridiculous construct that we come up with as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we all the same. You bleed, I bleed. You love, I love.
Mm-hmm.
You can hate, and you can give that hate back. I just think that as human beings, if we can appreciate our beauty as human beings, and that's all we need.
And the things we share,
And-
the basic human emotions and needs that we share.
Exactly. Exactly.
And where will the program take place in October?
It takes place at the site, Foley Square, at the monument. We've been doing it, this is our 7th year, and I'm hoping that Miss Lisa Farrington will be one of our guests.
You put me on the spot here.
To talk about art.
Happy to.
Yeah, because I have so much respect for
Thank
what you have done, what you have brought to the table in terms of the arts. And I feel that it's a part of love that you.
It is. It's a labor of love. Yeah. Yeah.
But how you spend the time to write all this information? I feel like.
I feel the same about you. I look around here, and there are literally hundreds of works of art in Lorenzo's studio. So, writing and studying about Black history is what I love, and making art about Black history and culture and human connectedness is what you love. So, if you love it, it's not labor.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I love that concept. It's not labeled. So when did you find that you wanted to write?
In college, yeah.
And that was a natural gift?
It was a natural gift. Yeah,
Ah.
I was a good writer. I used to write detectives novels when I was a little girl, so I always wrote. So writing is how I contribute to my Black people, and art is how you contribute to your people.
Oh, fantastic.
So sadly, we're over time, so we have to wrap up, but I would like to thank Lorenzo Pace and all the crew who you can't see behind the camera who are helping us, and thank you for sharing. Good
And
night.
thank you.
Oh, and thank me.
What a pleasure. That it?